took it off for recording. And then it goes back on.
Oh, was it recording the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a fun. I don't want that recorded. There we go. So good morning, everyone. Hey, Carissa. Hey, everybody. It is Saturday, March 28th, 9 a.m. Central, and we're so excited to be here this morning for strategy. So no specific agenda. We're going to let you guys talk first, and then Carissa and I will share some ideas for wrapping up month end and for rocking out April. But who's got good news to share or something exciting that they're celebrating in their business? Hey, can I ask you all to mute your lines? I know like a lot of people will be at their desk, but many are going to multitask during this, and it's really noisy today. I might mute you. I'm just going to go through and mute you. So who wants to start us by unmuting your line and telling us some good news, something you're celebrating, or maybe you're stuck somewhere and you want some help? That's kind of how we want to open this up. So who's got something? Good morning to all of you, by the way. There's so many of you on. This is so fun. Don't all go at once.
All right, you know me, I'm not shy and bashful. And yes, I am still in my nightgown.
That's okay. Hey, we do calls all the time in our bathrobe. That's good.
But I wanted to share, and I just was on Dana's call, and I shared this. And I'm probably going to get emotional again. But one of the things I did for March, and I've done this for February too, but March has ended up taking a different swing, is I do a mystery host. And I've been promoting it hard all month. And it ended up, and I always end it before the end of the month so that whoever wins it has that option of do they want the March hostess special or the April hostess special.
Yeah, good idea.
So we ended it last night, and it's the best mystery host month I've ever had. And it ended with $951.50 in sales. And the cool part about my story is this: I think it's neat how we're all pulling together and helping in times of need. And yesterday during the day, as I was closing my mystery host, one of the girls that was in the drawing texted me and she said, Karen, if you pull my name, I want to give that to somebody else that needs it more than me. Aww. And then when I pulled the name last night, sorry, it ended up being another lady completely different. And she actually wasn't on the call. She's actually my neighbor. And I called her and I was like, Ann, you won the mystery host. And she's like, oh, what did I win? And I said, you got $142.73 in free Epicure. And she said, Karen, I don't need that. I want to give that to someone that needs and struggling during this time of need. So it really got me thinking. And I've already found a family that's struggling that has, don't cry, Kayla, you make me cry. I already know a family that has 4 kids that's struggling, single mom. And so we're going to put together packets for that family. And then what I want to do is add the other products to it. I know she has meat because she's a farm girl, but I want to add the other stuff to it and present her with this package from my Epicure customers. And that's how I'm going to present it. But it's got me thinking of maybe putting some kind of a spin on it for April in the same way of not making it a mystery host, but making it as a way for us to give back to people that are in need. So.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. That's an awesome testimony to what we can all be doing here right now. Thank you, Karen. What a great way to start out the call. Thanks for not being shy. Who else? Actually, Karen, maybe I should ask you one more thing quick, because somebody else might want to know. How did you start the mystery hostess? And do you feel like now is a good time as any to start it for next, like get a plan for next month? This is a strategy call, right? So maybe somebody on this call is just not going to be brave enough to ask, but like, can you just tell us like 30 to 60 seconds on how you got to this place where you had this $900 class this morning? Like, what was the progression?
Well, I constantly promote it throughout the month. So I open my mystery class at the beginning of the month, and that's the link I share for everything. And so, you know, if it's, maybe I'm promoting the shepherd's pie or whatever. So yes, you can get the shepherd's pie, but you're also going to do it on my party. That's a March mystery host as well, so that you can win. And I'm constantly updating on my VIP page where we're at with the mystery March. So here's what you could win. Here's where we are right now. This is how much free product you're going to get, how many half price items. I'm always updating and keeping people in the loop. And that's all. Every day I do that, I'll get another order or 2.
I love it. I just took some notes in case someone asks more details, but I love that if you are watching this too, what's cool is for Karen, financially, she might not need those freebies. And you might be on the call and you might be thinking, well, when I do like a share, I like to get some of my own. What you could do is you could swap it back and forth throughout the month. You could have a link for yourself and a mystery hostess. You could also do half the month and just keep working till it gets over 250 and constantly cut it at that point and give those rewards away. You could do so many things, but I love that because she's consistent with it, she's sharing and she's marketing it, then it works. Yes, and Dawn said if you're new, a mystery hostess like party or cooking class would be where you have an open class link open and you're going to give those rewards away probably. Like it's a mystery hostess because you're going to pick a winner at the end. You either draw and give all the rewards away. Sometimes people do half, they split it. Some people do every $25 in free goes to somebody different. And a lot of times too, like Karen said, what's cool is you could also do, who wants the omelet maker for $8? Next month's the tortilla press. I'm finding people are pretty excited about that too. And you could also raffle off the half price items. That could be to different people because getting a couple things of mac and cheese at half price is a pretty sweet deal if that's, a blessing to them. So just being creative with how you're marketing your business. So Karen, thank you for sharing your awesome story, but also a little bit about just what you're doing to be consistent and get in front of your customers.
And just to add to that, because one of my questions when I was new and I'm only in my 4th month is you take, when you pick whoever your winner is, you submit that order and you work with that person. Because once you create that class as yourself as the host, you can't change that. So then you place that order and you ship it to them. And if they go over, you get their credit card, but you're doing all the work under that order for them.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. People ask me a lot of times if I'm doing some giveaways in my group, if that comes out of pocket, and it doesn't, I usually have credits, like you're saying, Karen, underneath my name. And then what I do is just go in and I just change the ship to address and it goes off to Carissa. Let's say she won something in my group, like she won a rectangular steamer. I would put that in under credits and just ship it to her house. So you can do that in your classes underneath your credit. And yes, I've tested it 100 times. If you're in my organization and you've won a prize from me that was product, like Shelly Winkers, when I sent you all that stuff for, promoting to leader, it all probably came in Macaulay's name or somebody's name that had credits for me in the back office. Nate and Macaulay are my best customers. Pfeiffer's getting up there too. She really likes Epicure. So good. Awesome. Okay. What else? Wait, someone else said, Karen, do you by chance have any words that you could share in the comments while we're still on that Lori and others could copy if they wanted to? They are asking for some words on maybe how you started the mystery hostess for the month and anything particular that you would say about it.
When you share this live, I'll go underneath of it and put just some of the words I've used.
Perfect. And then Carissa can grab them and put them in her team page. Awesome. Yep. I'll upload the recording right away this morning. Cool. Okay. Who else? Good news, ideas like this. This is great. What a great opener.
Hi, my name's Kristen. I just had a question. How do you pick the name for the mystery hosts or the people that you put in the drawing? Is that just anybody that's ever hosted a party for you or anybody that's on your VIP recipe page? Because I'm kind of struggling.
So my
month trying to get people.
So my mystery host, the way I've run it is if you spend 25 or more in products, so not including shipping, for every 25, their name goes into the drawing. And then I do it the old fashioned way because I want to showcase. So I always use my, it's here because I did my drawing last night. I always put the tickets in my all purpose steamer so I can showcase another item. I don't use an automated tool. So, but that's how I advertise it. Every 25 you spend, your name goes in the drawing. And then as it gets closer to the end, I'll do posts in my VIP group and I'll let people know where they are. Jane Doe, you're in 3 times for that drawing, so they can totally see where they're at.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and if you're having, I like what you started out with, just that you're having trouble maybe getting in. I know Carissa and I both have added too, like if they book a class, like right now I'd be saying if you book an April class, you would automatically get 3 entries in, like no purchase necessary or something. You could do that. It doesn't cost you then anything out of pocket, and it's getting you dates on the calendar. And you also could start it lower if you need to, like at $10. Every $10 you spend, a name goes in. It makes people, maybe if they only want one thing or they're nervous, at least they make the first purchase. And then once you get to be Karen, eventually Karen's might go up a year from now to 35 or 50 to get in because she's going to have that repeat business. But when you're new, it's hard, you guys, to like wrap your mind around sometimes when you're just someone shopping online now, right? There's no tasting or anything. And P.S. people do not need to taste products. Do not let someone tell you that. That is just what they're saying because for some reason they either are afraid to click and shop or they're not sure about the value. So dig deeper on that objection because they have to taste it is not a true objection. You don't try food at a restaurant. You don't try food at the grocery store. But you might actually have some people that are holding back because of that. So something you could do, Kristen, is start with a lower amount and let them get in that way. Carissa and I have done that a lot of times for the Super Bowl board and for other things that we do throughout the year. We have a lower buy-in to start. So can I just remind you guys, if you're not sharing right now, just to mute your line so we get a nice clean recording, and then you're welcome to unmute at any point.
So this is Lori, and I have another question along those lines that go with the mystery host. What if you don't end up with a qualifying class or qualifying party?
Get it there. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, that is, if a team member reaches out to me, if you're on my team, you know that's exactly what I'd first say is, did you try everything? Did you send at least, 5 or 10 messages a day for the week leading up to the deadline? Did you ask your people who got in if they want to share that link for you? I'll give an extra entry in if they refer someone to me. Karen, do you want to share? What do? Do you have anybody that doesn't, or a month that hasn't qualified?
She kind of went out when she was talking. So can you repeat her question for me?
Yeah, her question was, what do you do if the class doesn't qualify?
Fortunately, I've never had it happen.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so I would say I would do fun things then to try to get more, like I would ask for referrals from those that already participated. I would share it on my wall. You can't share that you're doing a giveaway, but you can share that you have an open class link and you'd like them to jump in your group to hear more. I get really creative with how I try to get those orders in before I give up and say it's not qualified. Does that help you, Lori? And Sonia's going to add something.
Yes,
The
thank
only
you.
thing I would add is to set a goal in the month. So if you're going to have your mystery hostess event go for a month, like for 30 days, to set a goal that it qualifies by mid-month, because then you're not scrambling at the end to try to get it to qualify and coming out more as it might come out more stressful because you're feeling the stress, and so that can sometimes get conveyed to your customers. So anytime I do those, I try to set a personal goal that it qualifies by mid-month, because then I'm much more relaxed and comfortable when I'm having those conversations, knowing I have a bigger window of time to make those connections.
Yeah,
Okay,
I love
thank
that. Sonia, you just nailed something else. Lori, this might help you. Anyone, whether you're in Carissa's organization or mine, there is a post in each of our groups in the last week or so. Search the word perspective. And Carissa gave some amazing words. I think it was Carissa or someone in her team did on like how we reach out to about something like a mystery hostess and how you can change the words to just really attract people in and get curious. I would say those are the kinds of messages that from the start, like Sonia said, start your month strong. Talk about your mystery hostess every day. But if you know you have a smaller customer base, I would actually do reaches from the start. And then once you're qualified, it's going to be just that much easier too. And also one quick note on this mystery hostess idea, we call it lots of different things. That's really what the Super Bowl board was, except instead of it being a drawing out of a hat, it was based on the score of the Super Bowl. Now there's not any sporting events, so that's not obviously a good one to be doing, but you could do things like, I know Carissa and I always do pick a flower is coming up or fill the flowers. We've been doing this for years. It's $10 a flower. All it is they have to purchase $10 in product. Every $10 colors in a flower on our sheet. Once all the flowers are filled, they go in a drawing and we raffle off the hostess reward. So really, you can also change the wording on it throughout the month. They don't even have to know mystery hostess. It can just be, this is my monthly customer give back. This is my reward to my VIP, my clients. So really just jot some of those notes down because this is really good, you guys. We want you to start something like this right away in April and maximize our last month in this catalog. Get it while you can, whatever's left of the vault sales. And we've got this amazing taste test coming up. Who's excited for the next taste test? Has everyone gotten theirs yet and tried it? Have a lot of you tried it? It's so good. I cannot tell you guys enough how excited I am. Like, don't get me wrong, the vanilla is okay, but the chocolate is the bomb.com. Like, so good. So there's that. I mean, the vanilla is okay. So.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in and add a note for anybody who's new watching. The reason why we choose like $10 or $25 is because a product is like a meal solution is $9. So they are forced to buy two. You don't want to choose a number that's equal to like 1 or 2 small purchases. You want to go somewhere odd that kind of pushes them. So like 10 or 15, 20, those kind of push them into like not just one item ordered.
Yeah, and once you have an established customer base, 25 or higher is a good, definitely a good hot spot. But I don't want anyone on this call to feel like, gosh, a lot of my people, I'm brand new, they haven't even tried it yet, or they just purchased. Start somewhere. I'm sure Karen would agree. Starting anywhere and getting orders to come in. And what does that give you? And Chris, I'm sorry I cut you off. I'll stop. What does that give you after you get them in? It gives you the chance to send a thank you email, to text them 2 weeks later and make sure they got their products. You know, it gives you all. Are you taking a picture right now, Carissa?
Smile. I love how you all stopped and turned at me at the same time. You're all like,
but it gives you part of the mystery hostess. It gave Karen a chance to pick up the phone and call a customer, and maybe that customer would have been the next one ready to host, right? Like, you just don't know when you get the chance to interface. So the $10 point, Christina's right, it doesn't allow them to buy just one fajita or one mac and cheese. They have to purchase at least 2 items, and it gets you a reason to like check in with them, give them recipes and interface. This business is all about that. So Carissa, what were you going to add? I'm sorry.
oh, I was just going to say too, because, you know, that's when Lori had mentioned, how do we get it, you know, what if it doesn't qualify? The biggest thing too is just remember, you got to treat every online opportunity as in-home class. So you have to be very, you know, you have to be on game for your follow-up. You have to be reaching out to people. You just can't like, yeah, I'm posting here, help me fill up a thing of squares or a thing of flowers, and just hope and pray and wish on a dream that people are going to order off the link that you posted. So I just want to put that out there too, that you have to kind of do the behind the scenes works, because sometimes you see a consultant or a leader post it, and next thing you know, she's got $200 worth of orders, and then you're sitting there wondering, well, why didn't I get that? So, you know, there's a lot more happening behind the scenes than just a post. So I just want to put that out there.
I had to disappear for a hot second and help a teammate, but I'm back. Yeah, I would just, one of the tips I'd love to share on this call for just the recording sake too, whoever tunes in to the recording, and thank you all for jumping on Saturday morning and investing in your business and yourself. One of the biggest tips I can give you right now is I work everything like that all year round. So whether I'm doing a live class, which I love, and obviously right now I'm missing, but whether I'm doing a virtual right now, it's our dream, right? We all wanted to run virtual businesses. There's so many companies that advertise work from home, do it all from home, don't have to leave your house. That's what we got right now. So whether I'm doing that, or whether I'm doing a fill the flowers, or I've got something fun I'm going to do this week for my customers starting tomorrow, I work that, like Carissa knows, I've set this all up like a campaign. I've got posts that are going to go off throughout the week. I have pre-scheduled. I've got an email that's going to go out, and I'm going to do reaches every day, 5 to 10 reaches a day. So I can't tell you enough. And they're not spammy. Again, go search that perspective post if you didn't see it. And I use words like, hey, you're probably out of this by now, and I just want to let you know, as good service to you, that I'm doing a fun giveaway in my group. And that's why it's so important to do that private, right? Because we can't post that on our public walls or our public business pages. So it's really about customer service. And I will tell you, the more that I follow up with people, the more that I end up upselling a couple extra products, the more that I end up helping them actually use up 6 or 7 of their jars, and they feel really good about their purchase, like just really connecting with people. I can't say it enough. So tip for you this month as you think about rocking out March here. March is not over. And then also moving into April, work it like it's an event. Work it like it matters. And no one's annoyed that you're checking in, I promise. Kristen, were you I think you unmuted, so I'm thinking of that.
Sorry. So when you say reaches, it's not just emails. You're like texting them or you're calling them. I guess that's my biggest struggle, is I don't know when I'm being too pushy, and I'm not a confrontational type person. So like if anybody gives me like pause the brakes, I'm just like, okay, and I just stop. So I guess, I don't know. I don't want to be too pushy, but I also want to make sure that I'm successful. And I guess that's the part I'm struggling with right now. I did have a customer that attended a party that reached out to me last week and said that she would like to do an online party. And thank God Carissa sent me that link for the online parties, because I didn't even realize. I know that we've had several conversations, and I know she fills me with a lot of information, but trying to like retain all of that in my Rolodex in my brain doesn't always happen. So thank God she sent me all of that, and I've already scheduled all my posts out. like daily posts. And then for the night of the event, I'm excited because I tried one before and I had 0, but also the host was not involved at all. Like she expected me to do it all. And I tried to explain the more she spoke to the product, because the people didn't know me, the more successful it would be. And like 0, it was like crickets. It was kind of unsettling. It was not a good day.
Yeah, no. So some online events, and I know that there's others on here, I won't call them out. They can share if they want to. Sometimes an online event doesn't go well, and it can be just random. It can be that the hostess was not engaged at all. You're right. That's the biggest thing I see. The hostess isn't engaged at all, and she's not doing anything we asked them to do, right? But one of the things, let's go back to the reaches, is yes. So those of you that follow me know I do my follow-up very like structured after a class. I do a thank you email, and then I schedule a 2-week and 2-month email. But that's not all I do. That's just to make sure those people that purchased on day 1 get a thank you within, day 1 to 2. They get a 2-week check-in and a 2-month check-in. That's just that. That's just like extra. That's bonus. It's icing on the cake. I think everyone should do that. If you don't, I'm telling you, a secret to this business is people will just look at you like you're so professional, because that just doesn't happen in direct sales. I've purchased from multiple people in the last month, and I don't even know that I got a thank you. I mean, I know they appreciate it, but it's different, right? When you get a thank you and you get here's how you reorder, and can I send you a recipe? It's a big deal. But then, Kristen, no, to get my bookings, if I didn't book off of the initial class, I do individual reaches asking about their interest in an online event. And I explain what it is. It's a virtual cooking class, about 30 to 60 minutes, tons of fun. I'd love to do this with your family and friends. We've got nothing else to do, right? Let me know. Like I've been making, a little bit of a joke about the situation to try to like lighten the mood. I also do reaches on orders. Absolutely. A lot of my orders that come in, I send an initial reach like, hey, I know you were thinking about the bacon roll. Are you ready to get that? I've got an open link right now. Can I send it over to you, or can I place the order for you? And of course, very rarely are they going to order just the bacon roll. They'll probably order 2, or the sheet pan, or their favorite meal kit with it, or whatever. But so yes, there's a lot of interface in this role, not in an overwhelming way though. And Carissa maybe can help too on how she tracks this. But I have a note here every day, to do my 5 or 10 reaches. But then by the end of the week, Kristen, my 5 or 10 reaches then is just circling back to those people. So it's not that every day I have 5 or 10 new people. Does that make sense to everybody? Like there's no way. That's just not how this works. You reach out to 5 or 10 people on Monday and Tuesday, and then by Wednesday and Thursday, you're trying to tie up those conversations. Who is ordering? Who is booking? Who is joining you? Side note, plug people in tomorrow night to Discover Epic Living. I'm up at 8 o'clock Central Time. If you're having recruiting conversations, tell them to get on, tell them to watch. Those are the kinds of things you're plugging in your messages, and then just checking back to make sure they do it. Carissa, what do you do?
Yeah, well, I still do the same follow-up, the 2-day, 2-week, 2-month. But I guess too, the biggest thing about follow-up, because I was in that spot too, Kristen, where I was just like, in the beginning, I'm like, I just don't want to reach out. Like, you just get this weird feeling where you're just like, man. And it like, finally, I just kind of got to a point, you know what, this matters to me. What we do here matters, and I'm just going to reach out. And if they tell me no, they tell me no, and then I'm just going to move on and not take it personal and just go on with the next person, because there's so many people, and then entire in the United States, that's never heard of Epicure. So for me, it was always just kind of like keep pushing forward, keep reaching, and keep asking. And it wasn't like, oh, hey, do you want to buy taco seasoning? I saw you made tacos last night. It's more, it's just like starting that conversation too with them of, hey, I know you're my recipe club. Wasn't sure if you had a chance to kind of check over some things with Epicure. We're brand new. I would love to help you with quick meal solutions. There's, more people are cooking at home now, or just like saying something about like what Kayla said with like maybe even having a joke like, hey, you probably sick of making the same 3 meals every single day or whatever. I would love to provide you with more options, and just saying it like that versus like, hey, here's my link. Do you want to buy? So there's like that perspective thing of it's a little bit different when you're coming to a person with the first way versus the second way. And I think the more you do it, Kristen, I think the more comfortable you'll get too, and you won't get that feeling where you're just like, ugh. And if people are like, you know what, I'm not interested. Okay, no problem. Like, I'd love to, if you ever change your mind, because someone just said that to me yesterday. You know what, if I'm interested, I'll let you know. And I just said, all right, no problem. If you're open to getting a catalog and checking out, I'd love to send you one. Oh yeah, great. Sure. Send me a catalog. And then at least she's got it. Okay. She might come back through the funnel 6 months later and say, hey, you know what, now I really I'm really interested, you know, can you tell me more? But it's all about just like, you know, pushing forward. If you're stuck on like, I just don't know what to say, you know, I've shared quite a few different like words to use or like
Yes, thank
things
you.
like that. Yeah, so that can help too, but just be yourself and, you know, really remember, you know, why you want to share it with people, you know, and really remember, you know, what do you think it's going to do for that person that you're talking to, that single mom, like Karen was talking about, you know, the single mom that has 4 kids, like what could really help her, you know, versus like selling her, because we don't want to sell anybody. So I hope that's helpful.
It is. I had a quick question about the follow-up thank yous, like your to date. Is
Yep.
it just a quick, hey, thanks, I appreciate your
No,
business?
because there's a lot of notifications flying around. If you go into our team page under events, go to sample wording follow-up, it's all right there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I know there's a lot happening, so you miss stuff.
Well, and I never know which page to go to either because I'm following like 7 Epicure pages, and then you go to the team one. I'm like, which one's the team one? Like I try to. So that's my fault, and I'll just reach out to you on a side note later. But if I have any more questions, but okay, yeah, I will do that for the follow up. Thank you.
Don't feel stupid. Like there's so much good information like everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. And a good trick would be if I was back in your shoes, like I was new and I was working full time like I was when I first joined, I followed my team page. So let's clarify what that is in case anyone watches this playback. Because Kristen, if you're thinking that like, oh my gosh, there's so much, other people are too. Your team page would either be Team Inspire, which is Carissa's team. So it's got, I think, Inspire. Carissa, you have to help me with the title of your group. What's the title of your group? Inspiring people. She's not listening.
Inspiring people, and hold on, I have it right here in front of me. If you want the full one,
I think she fell
inspiring
asleep. No, I'm just
people
kidding.
in the kitchen and in life. Team Inspire Parizo organization.
Yeah, so that would be the number 1 page I would follow if I could only follow one. And I did this years ago before I had my own, right? I joined a team just like you guys, worked full time, was pregnant with my first little guy. Then I obviously created my own at some point, and now that's the page. If you're in my organization, I want you to follow just living our best, most epic life is how you search for it. Living. That's going to be my organization's page. So we constantly post the company updates there. We post training there. You have all the sample events like sample follow-up, sample classes. And then there's other fun pages. I'm not even going to go into that. But if you watch both of our team pages, Carissa does like a summary post once a month that tells you what all the Facebook groups are, and I do as well. So that comes up usually at the beginning. I have it scheduled for April. I know that. So watch for that. But that team page is where we are going to reference a lot because Carissa and I work together as a team and we create those resources there. Does that make sense? And we know they're working then for you guys in particular because we are using them and leading by example. Now, that being said, Dana Nicholson has some amazing tools. There's a company sponsored Facebook group. When we went live this summer, I didn't even follow the company one. That's way too much noise when you're new. I'm going to give you the biggest blessing right now ever in your life. If you take time every day to look at all those groups, you are never going to get your business to where Carissa and I have businesses. You have to learn what income producing activity is and then use that for some fun time or use it when you're searching for a resource or need something. But I would really, really caution you, like, just be smart about how you spend your time and use the resources. Then someday, Kristen, when you are a director or above here at Epicure, you're going to have your own page and you'll be telling people these same things and like, gosh, I remember being that person now. I do remember all the different things, thinking, how can any one person soak it in? This is my advice on that. Everything that's posted isn't for you. Everything that's posted isn't for Shelly Winkers or Stacy or Karen or Dawn. It's posted for someone. Someone needs to see it, but it might not be for Kristen. Kristen sounds like needs words and just advice on not feeling salesy or pushy and just moving forward. So that's your bless and release I just gave you. You're not going to miss anything. Your leader will tag you if it's really important and will hound you, okay? I promise. We'll come after you. Each of you do income producing to finish out March and finish out April. And give yourselves grace right now if you're homeschooling your kids, working from home. We just want you to plug in when you can on the things that are actually going to grow you and not worry about the details. Okay? Does that help? That helped someone. I know it did. Because I needed to hear that many. I'm definitely the person who wants to stay up all night, make sure I read every post. I like it. I make the people feel loved that are being celebrated, but no one's going to cry if you miss something. I promise. Maybe you inside, but just get used to it. It's part of being a business owner, right, Carissa? You can't keep up with everything. You do the
Right.
best you can every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
One thing I would put on your calendars is Monday, Amelia addresses the whole company, and I don't have the exact time down. So if somebody else has that and can say that, that'd be great. But I just thought,
Usually 5:45 Central Time.
okay, so it's in the evening. It's right around dinner time, usually Central for sure. You're right. But just make a note that every Monday she's going to be coming live, our CEO, if you don't know Amelia, and addressing us, giving kind of like a state of the company, a state on shipping, updates, what's coming. And I know this next Monday is going to be huge. We are launching some really big things that we can't tell you yet. So I would really encourage you all to just always make that a habit. And if you're leader level or above, Fridays she addresses us first, and that's how some of us know some tidbits so we can plan. And then she comes to everyone on Monday. So just wanted to add that too on the recording for people that listen to the playback. Okay, what else? Strategy wise, what else can we help you guys with? How are you feeling about your online classes? Are most of you feeling pretty good about getting them going or not? Share. Someone share.
I don't have any, I don't know how to say it. I guess I'm doing an Italian class tomorrow for my live. I'm going to do the chicken tenders. Does anyone have advice for that?
Yeah. As far as
Devon just
how
did
to
that
make
one.
Go ahead. You want to go, Carissa? I mean, I did my very first Facebook Live when COVID started to come out and my hostesses were starting to be like, I don't know if we should gather. I just did the Italian because that's what I was supposed to be doing at their house that day. And it went really, really well. But I wanted someone else to share instead of me talking the whole time. So Carissa, did you say you just did it?
No,
I did
just
it.
Oh, Dawn, yeah, share your advice then.
Yeah, I just did it. So what I would do, well, I doubled the recipe because my family eats a lot. So I doubled it. I would try to like bread most of your chicken tenders ahead of time and just have like maybe do like 5 or something. Cause I felt like I was spending like, 5 minutes dipping in the breading and everything and have it on your bacon roll already. I feel like that would have saved me a ton of time.
And oven preheated.
Yes. Oh yeah. The oven preheated. Yep.
I think sometimes when you're getting ready to go live, the last thing you think about is the oven.
Yeah.
So I was like 7 minutes before the live, which is still enough time, but I was like, the oven's not on. That'll never cook if it's not up to 400. So 400 degrees, oven on, and I'm with Dawn. I had about half of my tray ready because Nate's not doing breadcrumbs anyway. So I had dipped his in the dressing mix, got him on the tray, and then dished it some of the breading so they could see. Cool. Any other tips, Dawn, that you found?
You could even bake half of them, have them ready, already baked, and then, prepare the next batch, like do them in batches to help save time. So you could be like, this is what we're cooking today. I'm going to show you how to do it.
I also did the marinara for dipping. And because I showed how easy it was to just do simple, like a can of crushed tomatoes, add in our marinara seasoning, or plug the Averita in because that's what's going to the vault if they want a little something spicier. And then I had it heating up while the last batch was cooking. And then I did that as my first online. And I was lucky enough to have my host with me before we were all in quarantine. Now my kid fills in and he taste tests.
Oh, cool.
And so like for some reason those parties where I have like either his blunt honesty, he's a no filter kid. He's 7, so they really have no filter. Or the house is there and she hasn't tried it. That reaction really gets a lot. So if you have like somebody who could possibly taste it after you're done, that feedback sometimes is good.
Can I add too? I really like to show off the steamer. I really love the steamer showing off because right now, like, I just think that's the biggest. I think it's one of the most helpful tools during this self-distancing or social distancing and being home. So what I did is I did exactly what those two said, but in a little different format. I used the bacon roll, of course, to bake my chicken tenders, but I did the steamer to do the marinara. Now, normally I'd probably just use my multi-purpose pot. If you don't have a multi-purpose pot, put it on your list of things to get like ASAP. Love it. But the multi-purpose pot is amazing. It's a really nice higher price point too, as far as the sale goes. It's a really great one to sell. But I thought the steamer would be more applicable. So that way it made me open up the can of crushed tomatoes, put in the marinara, and talk about the steamer. Kind of like you said, Karen, it's like I needed that to like get it in front of people still. Is the marinara in the steamer that wow factor? No, you're just heating tomato sauce, basically. You're making marinara. But did people go, wow, that's so cool? It was probably the combination of the time it took, very little, the can of crushed tomatoes and the marinara making it. And then Christina, I love your idea of having someone taste test, but I took a little bit out and put them in the prep bowls. Again, another way to use some more Epicure. I love the freaking prep bowls. And I was like, look, you can put some in for each of your family members, put it on the plate. Anyone else have a kiddo where the liquid can't touch the salad? And, and everyone was like laughing. So you could also do like, you could do that same concept for like a pancake one, and you could bake your pancake on the bacon roll. And, you could do a ton of different virtual classes. My biggest advice is try to show as much product as you can without overwhelming them. You want to be really precise on what you're showing and how they could use it. So I held up the steamer and I talked about bacon and rice and chicken fajitas, but I was making the marinara. And it just made me, because you have 20 minutes while the chicken is cooking. Does everyone understand that menu? You coat the chicken in the dressing mix, and then you get to wait. So it was perfect to have the steamer to talk about, and then chocolate pudding for dessert or something, make a dessert. So whoever asked that question, was that helpful? Who asked that question?
It was me, yeah.
Hey, Katie.
Think that does help. I did the like breakfast for dinner one the other night, and this is the one that they wanted me to do in their home anyway. So I'm just sticking with it for sure.
I think so. I think you'll be glad too. And guys, this is also really good practice. If you prefer to be like doing a mixed calendar where maybe once where it's safe to be out again, you like doing live, how good to be practicing different classes so that you don't only know how to do one class when we get back out, right? And also not every hostess is going to want to see chicken fajitas. Although, P.S., if in doubt, always stick to the Mexican menu. Use the how-to guide on your counter and do a Facebook Live with that or do a Zoom with that. You'll be great. But if you ask Sonia, I know she's going to say her favorite is Greek. If you ask me, you're going to know that, I like anything that has lots of carbs. So I also make pasta usually at my class with the chicken tenders. And then we have like, spaghetti and chicken tenders is like what we do. So like long story short, find what is really fun for you because it'll show really well. And proud of you, Katie, for doing different things. And this is totally outside. Katie's new. Katie joined in February. She was with our past opportunity way back, did not come over to start, just joined us in February and literally had to jump in after just 2 classes or something, normal, I'll say. And she's rocking it online. It's proof that anybody can do this, you guys. I love it. What else? That was a good question.
I had a question on the Italian. I've done the Italian kit at a couple classes. The Alfredo, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but it's just not, the people are not liking the Alfredo. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, has anybody else had that issue? I'm following the directions on the back. They just said it tastes really bland.
How are you doing it? Are you doing it on the stove or in the microwave?
On the stove.
I have had the biggest success doing my Alfredo in my multi-purpose steamer.
Okay.
For 5 minutes. So you do it 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Whisk it. Another 2.5 minutes. It has been perfect every single time. So try the steamer if you have
and that's another
that
great way to that's another great way to show the steamer, Karen. Thanks for saying that. I was gonna look at you, Kristen.
The herb garlic grinder, sea salt grinder helps too with the little bit of blandness.
Tammy and Tina are shaking their heads big, so they must use the herb garlic grinder. Yeah, I personally don't do Alfredo at my classes, Kristen, because I think Alfredo needs a pinch of salt, in my opinion. So
it does.
So I definitely don't know that that's the best one. I personally do marinara, and if they want something else, I offer mac and cheese because that one's a big hit every time. But the Alfredo at our house, we definitely need some salt in it, or we think it's too plain. Now, not bad plain, just
bland,
different.
a little bland.
Yes.
But I have a hard time adding salt when we try to say that it's sodium conscious and sugar conscious, and then there I am adding salt to our recipe.
Yeah, well, and that's why be careful with that though. Our CEO even trains on that, why it's done that way. She even in her class, if you watch her demo, she hits on the salt and that she made it so that you can put a pinch in and not feel bad. You can control it.
Okay.
But that's why I was like, oh, I don't do Alfredo at my class, so I'm not going to be the right one to give advice. But Karen, does it just maybe I'm wondering if how you make it in the microwave too, because it steams in those flavors and stuff. It might be just a little bit better that way than it is on the stovetop anyway. even without adding salt. Like I would try that.
Well,
first. That
here's
might work.
so here's what I usually do, and depending what you're using it for. A lot of times I'm using my Alfredo sauce for seafood, and I always put a little pinch of fresh Parmesan cheese on top of it on my bowl when I take it out, and that's salty anyway, so that kind of
Yes.
takes care of that.
So I've been doing it in the kit. There's the it's got the broccoli and the zucchini with the Alfredo recipe and the
Mhm.
chicken. Do you guys know what I'm talking about in the Italian?
Yes. Yep.
That's what I normally make it. So I do the chicken tenders and then I make that because I let the host help me pick because I want to, try and do all the recipe or the kits eventually. So that way when somebody's like, oh, I want the Greek and I'll feel comfortable doing it. So luckily my friends that have started helping me do this are the ones that are picking those recipes because if I look stupid in front of them, I don't really care because they know me as it is. So I'd rather do it there. So that's where they picked that recipe and it's really good when it's all together. But like you said, it really needed some salt.
So my chicken, when I do that recipe, I make the chicken usually either grilled and we'll do leftover chicken. That's like when I love to use that recipe. My chicken has enough salt or like flavor on it, had seasoned.
Right.
It's not a big deal then. But I'm just picturing at a class, you just straight up making the Alfredo. That might be just play with it. Try Karen's method. Maybe in the steamer it would come out a little different because I noticed that about things. Sometimes they come out more flavorful just because of how we're cooking them, I think.
Yeah.
But otherwise, my go-to is I go with mac and cheese because it sounds really good.
The last one I did the mac and cheese instead and did all the vegetables with it. I did it like I put on the Alfredo and it turned out really good. But I'm a big fan of the mac and cheese, so that helps.
Yeah, and that's why I always go to that. Like, that's not a solution. We want to help you. But for the record, if you want to know what I do at my classes, I steer them that way because I feel like everyone buys the Italian kit, the bacon roll or sheet pan, many buy the steamer, and the mac and cheese. Like, that's a nice chunk of products right there. So that's why that's a really good class. So there you go, Katie. If that builds you up, you're going to have an awesome virtual class with the Italian menu. And they won't be able to taste the Alfredo. So you can just do whatever you want with that Alfredo. Anyone else think that's the best part of being online in case the rice, doesn't go right or you forget the recipe like I did the other night or whatever? Doesn't matter because you're virtual. You just go, look at how perfect this looks. And then you're like, it looks a little crunchy. Yeah.
So
Sometimes
two things on that. Can I add in quick? One, the other way too that I show benefits of the Alfredo is I just tell people I use that instead of a cream of something soup that our family doesn't buy those. We use those as a base. So you can use it in like a cream of potato base or use it to make cream of potato soups or, that type of stuff and use it in place of those cream of some things. That's what I always say because they have like 80 ingredients in them. Nobody wants to eat that. Ick. Use this, just make one recipe and use that in any of your church cookbooks that you still have because those recipes are great, but sometimes the ingredients are kind of icky. So then that kind of gets some heads turning too. The other thing I'm thinking about, and Kayla's going to know how much this hurts my heart when I say it out loud, but maybe, I don't know, maybe for me doing those Greek menus every time is a deterrent because people can't taste it. And the name like Slovaki seems a little intimidating to people. Where if I only did the Mexican menu, people know what a taco tastes like, so it's a little easier to relate to once they just see the actions of how it's being built, knowing that they cannot taste it. So just throwing that out there, I guess.
One of the things I've tried to do too recently is and I just got an order, so bear with me. It's sitting here. Take simple products. I'll pick pesto, even though I haven't made it yet. But take my 3 onion, and I did a recipe, and I encourage you guys to go look this up because it is thebomb.com. It's called Amelia's No Fail Cauliflower Souffle. But it just takes the 3 onion dip mix. So I'm trying to go back and hit my customers that I already have, give them other ideas of how to use the products and going outside of what's on the bottles and the packages. But that cauliflower souffle, oh my goodness gracious, you guys have to try it. It is so simple and so amazing. And it uses the 3 onion dip mix. So I've been really encouraging people to go to epicure.com and look at the recipes and get like some other ideas. And then when I do my dinners at night, that's what I'm showing people, other things. Not cooking classes, but my go lives of fixing my meals.
Do you do that every night? You do a video every night?
I almost am, because I figure right now I'm fixing dinner for us. Now, not every night, but it's either a go live or a picture of something I've had, either breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because right now I am homebound. I'm working from home now for my daytime job. So I think the more that, and I love, Kayla does this too. Like, there's times I have a robe on and I'm cooking my breakfast and I'm showing it to them, because it's raw, it's real me. And that's where people start to relate to you, I think, is because you're not all fancy with makeup and whatever. You're just like them, stuck in their house. So I like to do a lot of, I call them el naturels, and people laugh at me. And I'll post ahead of time, like at lunch, I'll be like, I'm going to do dinner tonight and here's what I'm making. So they kind of know that I'm going to go live. And that's when I get more people online.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I don't worry so much right now in this season about looking perfect. Like today I look decent because I wanted to get up. It made me feel good to get ready. Yesterday I stayed looking like, I mean, my son was in the ER the night before, if you didn't see. Like, I wanted that to come across like I'm not putting on a fake act here. I didn't stress out about getting ready. Like, here I am making a shake, like my little belly roll over my yoga pants. Like, that's just what yesterday was, and that's okay. And today I'm more dressed up, so maybe I'll go live again today and they get to see that like I got dressed up for no reason. Maybe my husband and I'll go on a date night tonight at home, but I want you all to like realize that it's more in what you like, just you being yourself. Carissa used those words earlier. When you do your reaches, be yourself, be authentic, and just be consistent. The people who don't ever find success here just cannot seem to they just cannot seem to find a groove. As far as Chris, how would you say this? It's not even just consistency. They just can't seem to ever stick with it. Is that fair?
That's what, yeah. Stick with it. Like 1 week you're on, the next week you're off, the following week you're half on, and then you're off for a month, and then you're like, oh, this is my month, and then you're back on. Because let's be honest, we all have shit happening every day, right? We all have something. I apologize if there's kids around. But we all have something happening in our lives, whether it's COVID-19, whether it's 18 kids running around, whether you're Uber taxi driver with your kids, you have homework. There's always something happening. But if you're not going to be consistent and prioritize what your business can do and look like for not only you, but your customers, the people that you're in front of, you're just going to always be like in this hamster wheel, and you're just going to be like trying to get traction. Like, this is my month, trying to get traction, and then you stop, and then it's like on a runway, you're trying to use all this gas to get the plane off the runway, but you're not showing up to actually make the plane get off the runway, if that makes sense. That's what I said. If you're on the strategy call earlier this week, I said the same thing. Like, if you're going to stop because the world stopped, because everything's stopped right now, and you're gonna have your business mimic the world stopping, it's gonna take you so much harder to get up and going again in 30 days or 60 days or whenever this is over. It's going to be really hard. So while you might feel like you're just chucking noodles at the wall, hoping for something to stick every day, are people going to show up for my live? Is anybody going to order? The best thing you can do is just be there in some way, shape, or form. Yoga pants, not showered, dressed to the nines, whatever, every single day. And it doesn't have to be a pretty little picture. It doesn't have to be a pretty recipe. It doesn't have to be a pretty product. It just has to be something. Could just be some fun meme you saw that day. It's just got to be something. So, that's my kind of get off my soapbox on that. But that's just, I always hear so many times like, well, life is busy, or I had this, or I had that. Then you need to reach out to your leader, your sponsor, and figure out how to automate that part of your business and make it a little bit easier for you to move on with the rest of your day and all the things that you have going on. So,
yeah, we didn't really open this with what we opened with this week. I forgot to say, if you're on this call, we're talking to you like you want to build a business because you got on a strategy call. So I forgot to say that part, just in case you're listening, you're like, man, they're like, do this, do this, do this. We're not. That's actually not how we are at all as people. Yeah. We are like in survival mode like everyone else, but you got on this call because you wanted to grow. So starting with Karen's awesome ideas and talking through some of these menus and recipes and reaches, that's how you grow. Just having someone say tough love, get out of your own head. It is not pushy or salesy to do reaches. It's not icky. It's not spammy. this is just a part of the job. If you want to grow in this, I guess this industry, you have to be able to put yourself out there. And again, just not the roller coaster consultants, you're just making it harder on yourself. That's all. That's what we want you to know. Like the on and off again just makes it hard for you. If you're just consistent with even just cooking every day and talking about Epicure when you get a chance, when someone asks you about your meals, you will just be so much further ahead than a consultant that's all in for a month and then literally doesn't ask anybody, talk to anybody, talk about Epicure for the next month. Every month you're a brand new consultant then when you walk back. And that to me is just like,
and it doesn't make it fun. We're here to have fun, right? This is supposed to be fun. So don't make it harder on yourself.
Hi, I have another question.
Yeah, and then I have to kick you all off the line in about 2 minutes because I have a back-to-back call and I see some of them jumping on. So go ahead and wrap up, Kristen. You're our last question.
Oh, shoot. So it's really a statement, I guess. Does anybody have, I guess I struggle with, instead of going into like a full-on pitch when somebody asks me about Epicure, like my elevator speech. I like flatline when it comes to that. When somebody's like, what's Epicure about? And I'm just like, well, blah, 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 and I like throw up on them and they're just like, so I guess my biggest struggle right now is just like initiating the conversations and what's a quick like 2-minute, other than saying, this is for busy working parents, because I don't want to like single it to just women because there's some men that are maybe out there that are consultants. I don't know. But I don't want to single it just to women because we're all busy. And I guess I wonder if anybody else struggles without throwing up about what all Epicure is in their elevator speech, if that makes sense.
Kirsty just said, good food real fast, healthy meals in minutes that are delicious and easy to prepare. That's a good one.
Okay.
That's all mine is short. I just usually say something like, we're just a really healthy food company. My job is to help people eat healthy and do it quick. Can I send you a link to just look through a little bit? I'll point out some of my favorites and then I'll check back with you to see if that's something that interests you. And then if they say yes, I say, no, don't be overwhelmed. It's a pretty big catalog. It's like grocery shopping virtually, but that's the best part. I can deliver to your doorstep. Like that's how that conversation would feel. But I start really simple like that too. I see that Sonia said we are a culinary company that helps busy people, time-saving cookware. Tammy said like really simple phrases, not a whole, I don't tell them there's meal kits. I don't tell them there's a good food, real results system they can join. I don't tell them there's a steamer. No, just overview what we are. And then I find out if they'll look at it a little bit more, and then I find out how I can help from there.
Thank you.
Okay. Love to you all. I'm going to kick you off the line, and we're going to start the next meeting. So thank you all for jumping on. I'll get this uploaded to our team page, and then Karen, if you'll share some mystery hostess words, and then Carissa, you can take the recording and the words as well. Does that sound good to everybody? Okay, bye. Happy Saturday. Keep rocking.